Don't panic if the flywheel is damaged. The 8-iron iron has a magic formula. The splicing of flowers and wood is wonderful. The damaged ones are fixed. This cousin thought that the engine flywheel was seriously damaged, so he came directly to the ancient repair shop. Originally, he wanted to find second-hand parts. He called for consultation for a long time and couldn't find a suitable one. At this time, the young master in the shop immediately said that he could repair it. It only takes 10,000 yuan. For repairing such damaged parts, a lathe is definitely indispensable. But at this time, because the flywheel disc is very large, he used this. He directly waved his hand, and the master who was resting next to him understood. This large 3-jaw chuck was taken to the lathe. Due to the model, it is not enough to just fix it firmly. The master also needs to use a scraping needle for comparison to find the overall concentricity. After the disc is adjusted, it is easier to fix the flywheel now. For example, this self-made method is to use the method of flower grafting for repair, so the damaged parts inside the flywheel need to be completely hollowed out. Only the internal. After the internal treatment is completed, because the flywheel needs to withstand a very large torque in order to ensure the firmness of the joint, the internal joint needs to be threaded. The master gathered his head and moved his face to the cutting frame. Now the flywheel has been processed. Then the master needs to measure the internal processed size using this. During processing, in order to facilitate the subsequent cutting of metal, the master first needs to use a lathe to cut the surface flat and reserve a positive step in the middle. Then the round tube can be spliced and fixed firmly with electric welding. After such a simple splicing, the master can cut as he pleases. Since metal is not a standard shape, the first operation is cutting and cutting. After cutting the surface to a flat surface, the metal exterior can be cut. When cutting this side, the master only needs to refer to the size of the inner diameter of the flywheel. Through skilled cutting, the exterior is cut to a suitable size. After the exterior is cut, the interior can be cut. After the positioning hole is opened by the center drill, the master quickly uses twist drills of different sizes to expand the hole. Next, the guide bearing needs to be installed to ensure that the size of the hole can meet the standard when the thread is cut. It is necessary to use a lathe tool for detailed cutting. After the completion, the master will use a caliper to measure the thread. After the matching guide shaft is tested to ensure that there is no problem, the side also needs to cut out threads for splicing. For the cutting process of this thread, the master only needs to adjust the parameters of the lead screw. Through rich experience, the master can control the lathe tool for detailed cutting. The cutting process is not smooth, but it is also smooth. After the thread processing is completed, it is the most important step. The master also needs to open the bolt fixing hole inside. The disc is used as a reference. Therefore, only this matching crankshaft can be used for measurement. First, the master uses this as a framework for the holes. There are a total of 8 fixed holes, all of which are arranged diagonally. According to the principle of 1 + 1 = 2, the master only needs to control the spacing and use the lathe tool to draw for horizontal lines on the metal. In this way, the fixed holes can be accurately located through the framework. After the master uses the hairpin to open these 8 positioning holes, he only needs to use the drill press to open the holes. After the master's seemingly simple operation, 8 fixing holes with appropriate spacing can be opened on the wheel. After all the holes are cut, the assembly process can be started. The cutting technology of the master is very exquisite. There is no deviation between the texts. The efficiency of the connection is very fast. Next, the cylinder used for auxiliary fixing can be cut off and the uneven welding points can be cut flat. Although the repair method is basically the same as the method of the uncle with glasses, it also proves that the uncle with glasses has no problem with the repair idea. After the wheel is cut, the size of the fixing hole in the middle does not meet the requirements. The master also needs to use a drill press to expand the hole. However, at this time, both have threads for reinforcement. In order to improve the overall firmness, it is necessary to use the anchor method for splicing. In this process, you need to use a twist drill to make the holes of medium size at the splicing point. After that, you can install the stabilizer nails prepared in advance inside. These 2 stabilizer nails can limit the splicing point. The repair is almost over. There is already obvious cracking on the flywheel plate. it. The master directly gave this repair project for free. In order to improve the firmness during welding, the master first used an angle grinder to grind the uneven welding surface of the flywheel. Then the flywheel was fixed to the lathe and the back of the flywheel was cut with a lathe tool. The surface was cut flat. The welding surface was because the flywheel would cause the truck to shake when starting. With this professional equipment and the experienced repair master, the flywheel has been processed. How do you think the master's repair results are? If there are 10 points, how many points are you willing to give?